Annuity Awareness Month. So we could probably talk about annuities for a month. um, yeah, it's a it can be a complicated subject, and it can also be the annuity world or annuity products, strategies, whatever you want to call them, pretty confusing to the public and our investors out there. So I I would say proceed with caution when it comes to annuities, and there's so many different types of annuities out there. So it's really important to make sure that the right one is being customized for you. So really, when it comes to retirement planning, annuities can play a great role. And there's really two reasons why somebody would want an annuity in their portfolio or in their retirement plan. The first and foremost, and probably one of the more, I guess, popular or best reasons to have it is income protection, to provide income in the somewhere in the near future or even immediately. So, but let's step back a second, because I think it's important for us maybe to just briefly touch upon all the different types of annuities that are out there. I'm not sure if you were going to ask me that later or not, Jim, but um, you know, when it comes to income planning, retirement planning, to be very careful. And I see, unfortunately, in my career, my 30 years doing this, and all the folks that we talk to and look at their different annuities, unfortunately, um, they're broadly sold for the wrong reasons. A lot of people don't even know how they work, don't know why they're in them. It's very confusing. They don't even understand. So first and foremost, like that kind of bothers me and irritates me, even shocks me. Like, you've got to understand why it is that you're putting this into your plan and how it works. And so most people are looking, if you look at least at Take Point Wealth, when we're doing retirement planning, we look at first and foremost, are you going to have some type of income gap? When we say income gap, it means, when we look at your current income or your guaranteed income inflows, like Social Security, pension, something like that, where, we call that mailbox money. So that's money that we pretty much know is guaranteed to show up in the mailbox every month. Once we retire, we turn it on, that paycheck's going to show up in your bank account. Well, now we have to look at, what does it cost to live? What are your expenses? What's your budget? So what is your lifestyle like? Important when you're talking about retirement planning, you're trying to nail down a number or income that you're going to need now and in the future. It's really important to not just look at the daily staple things like utilities and mortgage payment, food, things like that. You got to factor in, like, are you traveling? Are you still going out to eat? You giving the grandkids money. Is there a new roof in the future? The AC's going down. Like, Florida, we know one thing: we're always going to have to replace AC. Our AC units and roofs and whatnot. So you got to look at not just your immediate needs, but you got to look at and forecast a bigger income picture. So I think a lot of people miss that. They just look at their current bills like, oh, it only cost me $2,000 a month to live. But we know that's not true. You've got other types of things that are going to pop up. And so you need emergency funds, but you need a plan. I like to even have a little bit of a buffer. But that income gap, or solving for X, I call it, is, if you take what you have in guaranteed mailbox money coming in, subtract it from your expenses, you're going to either have a surplus or you're going to have a gap. So it's important for us to fill that gap with a kind of a guaranteed solution where we know no matter what happens in the markets with interest rates, the economy, we're going to have some type of other guaranteed income. In a sense, all we're doing is creating another pension for you, where we know no matter what happens in the world for the rest of your life, we can turn it on and you're going to get that paycheck in your mailbox every month to supplement your Social Security and pension and to provide and fill that income gap so we can live the lifestyle that we need to live from now until our passing, and even factoring in inflation. So we talked about this in the last show. A lot of people do their planning, but they don't really factor in the high levels of inflation that are coming in the future. So obviously, what costs us to live today is going to be very different 5 or 10 years from now. So that's a big part of the Take Point on Retirement Freedom Plan. We do all that forecasting for you. And so we can build more confidence and clarity what your income needs not only are now currently, but more importantly, what are your income needs going to be 5, 10 years from now, right? So that's planning is very intricate, very important. So that's the main reason that you want to probably put an annuity into your portfolio, is to provide that income.